Hello everyone, so it's me, teacher Joey, and now we're gonna talk about in the unit number 4, the next topics. We have lesson A, polite and impolite behavior. Second conditional. Lesson B, we have expressing an expectation, acknowledging an expectation, word partners, past models for hypothetical situations, and lesson D, reading makes someone happy and writing an act of kindness, right? So the previous unit we looked to the different types of recipes, and as well we looked to the present passive voice, which is used to describe dishes or procedures about or matters, and in the case of how is something made. Now we're gonna see the second conditional, which is the unreal, the real conditional. Remember there exist three types of conditions. Okay, the first condition, or sorry, the zero conditional refers about any matter, facts, things that are related to physics or behaviors. For example, if I don't eat, I don't feel well. So the conditional type zero represents two clauses. But first, what is a clause? So this is what the zero conditional represents. Represents about facts and physics. For example, you can express behavior too. We forgot mentioning behavior. And one could be, as you see, we have what is a clause. So a clause is a sentence. It's combined by a subject and a verb. They need to have an agreement. Remember the rules of the simple present. Then here we have if we start our condition. If I don't eat, I don't feel well. That's a behavior, or that's the answer or behavior. So you always get the same result for this one. And also is used to explain facts and physics too. This is a good example of physics facts. Actually, the Newton laws, it's a good example because it's related to the sequences. Well, another thing it could be in physics facts, if you boil water, it will, if you heat water, it will boil. Sorry, if you heat water, it boils. I'm a mistake. So I'm still having some difficulties to move in my jaw. All right, well, that's simplicity of the first conditional type zero. So if you heat water, it boils. Look the rules of the verbs. We have the if condition, that's the if clause, which is my condition, and this is the result. So you see the agreement with the subject. We're gonna put the verbs in red. And look to eat. Remember that it's first person singular, so then you get it. Now we will look to conditional type 1. Conditional type 1. Let's gonna see a couple of examples of conditional type 1. All right. Well, the conditional type 1, it's about possibilities. It's about things that you certainly say, but there's no true, or there's not like a fact like the conditional type zero. The result can vary. So there's not like as using the modal verb will. We don't know exactly what will happen later, but hope that everything turns fine for us. No. Okay, so here I show this, where I displayed these pictures of Mars. If we continue living like we are now, we will live in Mars or another planet. No, so that's the condition. There's not a fact. There's not a fact. Actually, it's something that's, well, in talking about in a close or shorter time, that will be almost impossible. And here is the explanation of the conditional type 1 is to express possibilities. There is the same exactly the two sentences, the condition, the result, and we have to take in grammar the modal verbs that expresses probabilities such as can, will, might, or may. For example, if I study for the exam, I will pass. I will, I was gonna say, I will pass it. I will pass the exam if I study. This don't forget that there's another way to express it, inverting than the clauses, but we omitted the comma. If you see in the example 1, you have a comma. Next example, we don't have a comma. That's our rule of writing. And this were the two conditions before the second that now we're gonna review. Because in the last level, you look to the real condition and how it works. How it works. So right now we're gonna go to the book and we're gonna see the explanation. We're gonna complement the explanation with the book content. So now let's see. All right, let's continue to our introduction. Okay, so there's like the topic impolite behavior. You'll see here people. Well, look at the people there. If you see this couple of people, they are making noise with their chips. There's a boy who is worried. Then there's a woman who is, well, she's apparently the only one who is watching the movie. Then here there's a couple talking and chatting. There's a guy who is annoyed because the people are talking during the cinema. Hope that you don't do this, guys. And then there's another man who is trying to watch the movie, but there's a couple of elderly who are stand up and passes in front. So how many times you've been in that situation? Apparently this is his wife. And then there's a guy answering the phone. And next to there's a guy who is angry, and the other lady too. They are angry because this guy is talking or sending a voice note. And of course the famous babies crying at the cinema. And when your boyfriend girlfriend fall asleep meanwhile you're watching the movie, no? If I have ever happened to you, these guys, well, this is apparently maybe are dating. And then there's well, this boy is not the only one who is enjoying the movie, but this woman looks like frozen. Yeah, the man is like distracted with the phone flash, and this kid too. So now let's gonna see is the behavior at the movies that makes you angry? Would that behavior be okay in a different place? So right now, guys, in my comments here in the video, I want you to recreate a situation. What would you do? What would you do? Remember that the second conditional refers about unreal situations, but what would you do if you were in any of these situations? What would you do? Post it right here in the comments, please. Okay. Now we're gonna divide what's polite and what's impolite behavior. Let's gonna look through the difference and the meanings of polite and impolite. Let's gonna check the source in the internet. And if we look to Saint Google, we have that polite is an adjective, and it says having or showing behavior that is respectful and considerate of the people. That's polite. And impolite is exactly the opposite. The impolite, that's the impolite. Impolite, not behaving or showing good manners. Rude, that's, well, you see the Spanish definition. Now we're gonna try to categorize the activities in polite and unpolite. Number one, we have cut in line. So cut in line, what would be? That's impolite. The second, admit a mistake. That's polite. Third, drop litter. Completely impolite. Talk loudly in public. Impolite. Number five, we have give someone a compliment. That's polite. Offer someone your seat. That's polite too. And then keep someone waiting. That's impolite. And give someone a gift. That's polite too. So we look to the pictures. Maybe you have been in any of these situations. Let's gonna go and continue to the next line. We'll have typical behavior. What would you do if a stranger dropped litter in front of you? 20% said I would take to the person. 28 said I would pick it up. 40% said I wouldn't do anything, and 12% said other. Then, if a stranger were talking loudly behind you in the theater, what would you do? 60 said I would ask the person to be quiet. 20% said I would change seats, and 4% said I wouldn't do anything. That's 16. Well, they had other different answers. So that's what I want you to do, guys. We're gonna use would to recreate the question. What would you do in the cinema if you were in any of the previous situations that I displayed before? Now we have the second conditional that we're gonna complement it with the explanation in the board. But now let's gonna read carefully what the second conditional is. Second conditional sentences describe unreal or imaginary situation. So anytime that you remember the second conditional, remember SpongeBob. SpongeBob making the sign of imagination. So now that you have a common reference about the second conditional, we're gonna continue. And then we have to use a would. Remember, guys, that is would, not would, or not would. No, it's would. Like the L were mute. And then in the main clause, use were for the past tense of be in the condition. So remember that we have to use was for I. In this case, we don't need it. We have to use were. If I were you, I look to more information in the internet. Well, here we have the next exercise. You see the examples above. Let's gonna read them. If a stranger were talking loudly behind you in movie theater, what would you do? I change seats. I wouldn't ask the person to be quiet. No, so this person wouldn't do nothing. If a stranger dropped litter in front of you, would you pick it up? Yes, I would. And this is I probably throw it away. How would you feel if someone gave you a gift for no reason? If someone gave me a gift for no reason, I'd feel happy. So it's very simple. It's very simple what we have to do in this exercise. So this is the second conditional unreal. The second conditional is to express unreal situations or imaginary. And then we have the grammar. We have would. Would is a modal verb that is used for this one. In the first conditional, we have will, but now it's not required. Now, let's see the next note. Use were with I. Do not use was. And the clauses, we have the simple past plus would. For example, if let's see, if I did my homework on time, I wouldn't be worried. Yes? Or I wouldn't be worried if I did my homework. The other conditions, I forgot to tell you that in the first conditional we use will and simple past. Sorry, present. Now we're going to use the simple past plus would. If I did my homework on time, I wouldn't be worried. The negative form is with would, no? And then here it's my verb in the simple past. And here it's my verb with would plus be. Remember, after a modal verb, we have to put in the base form. And then upside down wouldn't be, that's my verb, plus did. And still, we have the simple past clause plus the would clause. All right? Now, I want you to try to do the next exercise. Okay? So that will be your activity or homework. Do this activity, please. And let's gonna check it for the next session. That's something that you are familiar with, so you won't have any trouble. But if you have, let me know. Well, there's an activity about What would you do if you found a lost pet in the street? Tell someone, follow it, feed it, take it home, other. And what would you do if you accidentally hit the parked car? Call the police, wait for the owner, leave a note, drive away. I think leaving a note. What would you do if you found a cell phone on subway? Wait for someone to call the last number dial, give it a ticket agent, keep it, other. Wait someone to call. What would you do if you didn't have enough money to pay your dinner? Call someone, go to ATM, let my friend pay, live without paying. No, I think that I would go to the ATM. And then, what would you do if you saw someone take something from a store? Talk to the person, tell the manager, call the police, look the other way. I would call to the manager. Then, what would you do if you accidentally broke a cup at your friend's house? Try to fix it, offer to pay for it. I think that I apologize and offer to pay for it. Okay, so that's conditional type 2. Now, I can discuss how I would react to a situation. Yes. Well, here we have a reading about expectations. Let's gonna read the dialogue between Diana and Ruben. Let's see. So, Ruben, how do you like it here? Oh, I love it. The people, the food, but I can ask you something. Sure, anything. Well, last night I was invited to a classmate's house for dinner. It was the first time, and I think I made a mistake. What happened? Dinner was at 7:30, as usual. In my country, I arrived a little after 8. My friends seemed kind of surprised. Ah, here's the custom to arrive on time, no more than 10 minutes late. Really? I didn't realize that. Well, you'll know for the next time. Okay. Well, this is talking about expectations and rules. Now we will go to the next page and look to the phrases which are missing. Which expressions are missing? We have the first one says, you're supposed to, you are expect to, and it's the custom to, and then acknowledging an expectation, acknowledging saying thank you. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, really? I wasn't aware of that. So really, I didn't realize that. No, sorry, it's not thank you. Thank you. It's applied for different thing here. Acknowledging an expectation is to like be aware of and apologize. Then, well, here you have a discussion, but I think that flick rates will be a little bit delayed because my condition of talking, no, so I cannot talk too much. Okay. Well, remember that in your quizzes, these expressions will be shown there. So I can express and acknowledge expectations. Yes, we can. No, so going to those expressions, you can use them. And we're gonna stop with the vocabulary word partners, and we will look to the verbs, phrasal verbs. How do you comment? How well, sorry. You will look and circle the verb phrases in column that partner with the nouns in column B. Then, well, we're gonna listen them, but I will tell them. So the collocation here is offer and accept an apology. An explanation is ask for offer an explanation, agree with and disagree with an opinion, then make and turn down request, then give, accept compliment, ask for return a favor, reach, suggest a compromise, and accept, turn down an invitation, and finally, make, offer an excuse. These are collocations of the next nouns. All right? Now we have I feel terrible. I made a terrible mistake. Why? What happened? Well, you know Steve, the new guy in our class? Yeah, I think so. Well, yesterday he asked me for a favor. He wanted to borrow my laptop. I said I didn't think it was a good idea. And now he's upset with me. Really? Yeah. Should I have lent it to him now? No. What would you have done? I'm not really sure. Well, would you have let him use for laptop? I don't know. I guess it would have depended. What did he need it for? So this, guys, it will be the next topic of tomorrow after looking to the answers in the previous section. And I want you to put in the comments. All right. So for the comments, I want you to put the or answer the next question. What would you do if someone at the cinema is talking on the phone? Sorry for the typo. And or anybody doing something annoying. I want you to use the for I would blah blah blah. You will explain what would you do. And considering what's polite and impolite. All right? So that's what I want you to do in the next comment. And lately, the Flipgrid will be postponed or delayed. And the rest for me is thank you for your attention and your support. And hope that you are fine, your family and everybody. And nos vamos a ver entonces. We're gonna see ourselves soon. Take care.